Welcome to Even Field, the sports podcast that puts women first. I'm Josie. I'm here with Amber.
Hello.
We are on Zoom today. Not that any of you will be seeing our faces, but yes, that is happening.
If you hear a difference in the audio, that is why.
Yeah. We had some prior commitments that couldn't be rescheduled, but obviously we wanted to talk because Nebraska volleyball beat Wisconsin, and that is gigantic.
Yes. So obviously the Huskers leapfrogged the Badgers and are now number one.
Yeah. I got to write
be shocked by that. Yes, and it was very good. So go check it out. Although I'm sure all of our listeners have already read it.
Yeah,
but what's pretty awesome, it was a 5-set match. I think everybody in the state was watching it. I definitely got a text from my head cross country coach saying, "You should watch this." So I just took a picture of my television and texted it back to her. She said, "You should do a podcast on this." And I sent her a link to last week's Even Field.
Yeah, no, we cover that.
Yep. But 612,000 viewers.
Yeah, more than the football game, which granted, not the greatest football game to be going on, but still notable.
Yeah, very notable. And the most watched volleyball broadcast in Big Ten Network history.
I really wish it had been on like Fox, so it wasn't like behind like the BTN paywall,
right,
for lack of a better word. They have two really big matches this weekend on Fox that people think might top the Nebraska video view already, which is kind of heartbreaking because this was the bigger match. But Sam McKeown actually,
now it sets that bar and everybody wants to jump over it. So
yeah, Sam McKeown actually talked a lot about that in one of his columns that came out on Wednesday, I want to say. So if you want to read more about that, he like breaks it all down on like why they might top it and everything. It's great. That is available. But like, yeah, it was huge. It was so huge, and like Nebraska did not play their best match.
No, but they still ended their 10-match losing streak to the Badgers, which is pretty awesome.
Like, I just thought it was like, I was watching them and I was like, they are not, especially that second set, they are not playing their best volleyball by any means.
No.
And we were like, avoid Sarah Franklin, avoid Carter Booth. The second set, all they did was hit it.
Sarah Franklin.
Yeah, like I literally was like, they didn't just.
But didn't you listen to us? Josie said it all.
But it's fine. They won. Some people were upset they won on like the replay, and I was like,
but it was a very legit call.
No, it was so obvious, and
yes,
like it was so obvious, and I don't know how it didn't get called. Is all I will say. I had some thoughts on the referees. I will keep to myself. But that one was so obvious. Like she like slid down the net.
The net, yes, yes. It was one where I was like, "You're gonna call some of those others, but not call that." Not that the other, but I'm just like, are we watching the same game? I don't know. And so, I think that was obviously because it worked out, but perfect use of the challenge.
Like, yes, it would have been cool to have Merritt Beeson the ball down. That would have been awesome. She had a hell of a game. She had, I think, 21 kills, match high. Like, fantastic. Yes, it would have been great for her to end on that note. But like, I'm okay without ended. They won.
Right. And Allie Batenhorst, I think she was kind of the unsung,
not
necessarily hero, but like really stepped it up because she hadn't been in the starting line. I mean, she was, at other times in the season, but hadn't been in the starting lineup, and then had to start because of the injury to, why am I blanking on names right now?
Rousey?
Yes. And she ended up with 13 kills.
Yeah, no, she had a good night.
Yeah, like at any time she needed to do something, she did it.
Yeah.
Which, you kind of expect of a Husker volleyball player, but like considering, the situation, it wasn't like the perfect situation to step in, and it was just, she did a great job. Obviously Merritt with 21, and then Harper Murray had 14, but still, like.
Well, I will say this, like, Allie Batenhorst's kills came to like and a bunch of runs for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Like crucial, like you need to stop that momentum moments. I mean, so did Mary Beast. I mean, she had so many kills,
Sure.
obviously. They as well, but you know, like, and I don't know. It was just a fantastic, and it was just all the rallies were either like they were really quick putaways or they were long. Like there was like no in between. Yeah, it was just crazy. And I just need those Huskers to serve better.
Yeah. 11 service errors, I think it was.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And yeah. Oh, but it definitely, I mean, it was what I think it's what everybody wanted. Like, I love it when it goes to 5 and you just get to watch good volleyball, like when it has to go to 5 and watch good volleyball. It's just, yeah, ton of fun. And it worked out in favor of probably what most of our listeners would like.
I would agree with that. I would think that yes, that is what they wanted to see.
Yes. I thought there were some other fun stats that weren't necessarily related to what happened on the court, with a record crowd of 9,198, including all of those standing room only people who spent, you know, a car payment to get their ticket to stand. And multiple moments eclipsing 100 decibels, which is always just fun and kind of makes my ears hurt and head hurt just thinking about being in there. That would have been a bring your earplugs to the game for sure.
I like, you could hear them on the like the crowd on the broadcast, which you can't always do. I mean, you can a lot of the times with Nebraska volleyball, but like it was like to next level. It was every point you could hear it. You'd hear booing.
Right. Yes.
But yeah,
considering the Huskers came out on fire, then it took a bit of a dip. It ended on a high note for Nebraska.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And then I don't know if it was jitters, but like Harper Murray did not play her best game by any means. I think she even said that on the television broadcast afterward. Like, and she didn't, and that's fair. It doesn't matter. They still won. Right.
Which it's kind of insane that you have a player getting, you know, 14 kills and having like the stat line that she had, and it's still not being her best game.
Yeah. But I think it's so fitting that Mary Beeson was so dynamic in that game, because she's the only one that beat Wisconsin before.
Yes.
Like, and she's a captain, and just like that whole leadership role, I think that is fantastic. Like she was the Big Ten Player of the Week. Some of the coworkers and I were joking that if like if Wisconsin won, it would have been Sarah Franklin.
Right.
Yeah. Like we're like, well, we can tell exactly why this happened, but yeah, they're the new number 1. Very, very exciting.
Definitely.
Creighton also had some movement. If you want to talk about them for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so they went down 2 in the rankings. They were on the road. They beat I want to say it's Providence and UConn. I have to double check last week. So it had nothing to do with them. It's just teams below them had really good wins. So they went down to 17. They've been at 15. Not a big deal. They are still on the road, which is kind of unfortunate, but they're taking on Villanova and Georgetown. I would expect them to handle that pretty easily. Same with Nebraska this weekend. They have, I want to say, Rutgers and Maryland.
I think that's right.
Both of those teams are in the bottom half of the Big Ten in standings, like currently have losing conference records. Not worried about that. Not that they're not good, because they're still in the Big Ten. But
they're still in the Big Ten, yes. But
I can definitely still take a set off of them, but I expect Nebraska to win that. I expect Creighton to win that.
And then UNO. Oh, sorry, did you have more?
No. I was going to say UNO, they've got North Dakota State and UMKC. UMKC is the only team they have lost to in conference so far this year. It was their first conference game or match, excuse me. I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I think it's also, I think it's like their second to last home game. So that should be an interesting one. I've been to a couple UNO games so far, and they seem to, they have, it may not be the biggest crowd, but it is a rabid crowd. And so I think, especially with their success, I haven't seen them play in conference games, so I can't speak to whether the crowd has grown since they're out of conference portion of the season. But that would definitely have to be a factor, especially if it's something that's pretty close. But I mean, they're still in first place, right, in the league. So
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yes, they are. Sorry, I'm triple checking.
I
See,
wanted to too, because
this
I was
is
like, I
what
don't know.
happened.
I was like, they should, because they've beaten everyone, but maybe.
Yeah, I think they lost one last week because they played 3 times. I'm pretty sure they went 2-1.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
They lost it. They've split with South Dakota now, which is perfectly reasonable. South Dakota is a very good team. We've said that before. Yes, I'm an USD grad. They're a good team. They're a tournament regular.
Yes. And they also have a bunch of people like just sitting at the top of the leaderboards for the conference, which I mean, I fully admit I am a huge fan of looking at statistics and seeing how things are. But you have, Shayla McCormick, she's leading the league in points, which is pretty awesome. She's 2nd in kills, 8th in digs, 10th in hitting percentage, which, that's not bad. On top of that, she's also on a 4-match streak with a double-double and 7-match streak with at least 10 kills. Nice. So when we're talking about them doing well, they are putting up numbers. And like Erica Fava, she leads the conference in service aces and in 5th in digs. I mean, so these ladies are really, bringing it. And there's one more person who is leading a league in a stat, which is Emily Huss. She is leading the league. She has 1.36 blocks per set. And that's over a 1/10 of a percentage point higher than the next closest player.
Jeez. That's
so yes, it's basically fun volleyball for all of the Lincoln Omaha D1 teams.
Everyone loves it. It's great. This is a volleyball state. I think we've proven that.
We've established that. Yes. Oh, and I believe the Supernovas are having a contest right now. You can enter to win a time in a suite, I believe, at a UNO game with a couple of the players. So check out their socials if you're interested. That could be a lot of fun.
That could be a lot of fun. All right. I know we wanted to definitely hit on Nebraska soccer.
Yes.
Do you want to take the lead on that? Because you know a little bit more than me.
Okay, so Huskers won the regular season Big Ten championship, which is pretty awesome. It's, I believe, they're number 19 now in the country, which also exciting because I think that they were kind of stuck at not stuck because being ranked is great no matter what, but just kind of in like the 23 to 25 range for a while. So dipping into the top 20 is pretty huge. And then for the 2nd year in a row, they're going to be hosting a Big Ten tournament semifinal. That is Sunday, and it's going to be against Ohio State. You can also watch it on Nebraska Public Media and B1G Plus, but they're the 2 seed in the tournament. Buckeyes are the 7 seed, so they statistically should have the edge. I mean, it also really helps that they are regular season champions.
Well, they have home crowd. Like that's
yes. Home crowd. They've been getting people out watching live, which is great. And Sarah, is it Sarah Dale, right?
Eleanor
Dale. I don't know where Sarah came from.
There's another player
when I just wrote down last names. She's raking in the honors this year. Did you have?
Yeah, so she won the Big Ten Forward of the Year, and there really isn't anyone else that could have won that would have won that. She's just had like an explosive season. We've touched on her before. We don't need to like recap anything, but yeah, she did win that. Surprise.
Yes.
Like, congratulations to her. Obviously, congratulations to Nebraska soccer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, kind of a big step for them, but it's a step right direction.
Yes.
They've been doing good all year. So
yes. And then so they have that game, which, by the way, this is their 5th regular season title in program history, which not too shabby. But once because we're just going to be confident and say that they're going to win and beat Ohio State. Mm-hmm. They then have Big Ten semifinals, which would be November 2nd. And then assuming they win there, they will play in the finals on November 5th. Those games are in Columbus. So Ohio State does have something to fight for, because I mean, it would be nice to win a conference tournament crown
in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the Huskers are going to come out pretty hard and yeah, go for it.
I would hope so.
I mean, that's what they're there for, right?
I assume they want that NCAA bid.
Yeah. And it's Michigan State who got the top seed. They also tied for the conference title.
Yeah, but they didn't play, which is why it's
exactly. So
that's the final match that everyone should want. You should want to know.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody needs to tune in for that. It should be fun.
Awesome. We also had state cross country. I know you're very involved, not with state, but with cross country.
Yes. So we did have state cross country, and can I just tell you, I have a bone to pick with how qualifiers happen?
I would love to hear it.
Okay. I'm all for districts. I think that's great. Pretty much every state uses that same criteria. And the thing that bothers me is that in order to qualify as an at-large or an individual, you have to be in the top 15. Well, if you're in a stacked district, it's entirely conceivable. So Class B, for example, they run 6 runners, 4 score, which is different from the typical 7 run, 5 score, which is Class A. But for example, in a Class B situation, which is what I'm most familiar with, if you have a team that's really good, all 6 of them could be in the top 15. And say the second place team has, I don't know, 3 girls that are in the top 15. So now you're at 9 of the top 15 already qualified because their team qualified. So say the third place team has like 2 girls that qualify or that are in the top 15. They would have qualified as individuals. So that's what, 11 people who have qualified as part of a team out of the 15 individual qualifiers. So the rest of the at-large, it's just such a limited number of people who then get to compete. So I think, and I believe Prep Running Nerd also posted something similar to this. Why not, if that many people are qualified, like if there aren't at least 10 individual qualifiers from each district, why not start pulling up the next ones until you can get to 10? So in my made up scenario, 4 individual qualifiers were there, everybody else attend. So why not add 6 people to make 10 at large and get more participation? Especially I think in girls sports, it just seems more fair. Like, why not have more participants? It's just such a limited number of people.
Well, but anyway, like on top of that, like wouldn't that, like, you could charge to go watch it? You could
they do charge to go watch it.
And then like those schools have to pay for hotel rooms potentially, or at least gas to get in and out of town. All you do is help that economy.
Yes. And like I've seen it at the state track meet where schools from, you know, way western Nebraska or northern Nebraska, their teams who, like the individuals who don't qualify when a team qualifies or individual qualifies, they come out and watch. So they're spending the money on hotel rooms and food and shopping and things like that. Why not do that with, you know, let's stimulate the carny economy by doing that same thing with cross country. And it just adds more participants, which I think just makes the sport more fun and is kind of the point of high school athletics in general. It's not just winning state championships. It's like teaching the teamwork and the camaraderie of especially a sport like cross country, where I saw a meme where it was like, you know, Shia LaBeouf going crazy, like applauding that very famous meme, GIF, I guess that's been going around. Well, it was that, and it's like, this is every parent as cross country runners finish, even if it's not their kid. And I'm like, yes. Like, yes, that is the thing. It's like everybody just celebrates everybody in cross country. And I just think it would give, this just would go along with the spirit of it, getting more people involved. Anyway, that's my soapbox. But
No, I completely appreciate it. Love it. Seems to make sense to me. I don't make any rules though.
Um, I will say that like Prep Running Nerd did dig into things and looked at the numbers, and like when it came down to the at large, like the individual qualifiers, Class A girls only had 16. Everybody else was a team. Class B girls had 15 total. Class C girls, it was a little more, 31, but they also have smaller teams. So, and then Class D girls had 43. So you see how small it is with the larger schools. And again, I just think the more participants, the better. But when it comes down to results, I think what really stands out to me was Class B girls for one. I'm sure no one shocked nor swept. They won. They were predicted, you know, it was completely as expected. They got first, third, seventh, 10th for their scoring finishers. And then Elkhorn North, as kind of expected, got second with second, 6th, 16th, and 17th, I believe. And none of them ran over 20 minutes and 20 seconds for a 5K. So it's just, think about your average runner running a 5K, you're running like 10-minute miles, 8-minute miles. That's not what the girls were doing. So that was pretty awesome.
They were doing,
you know, as they shouldn't, because they're competing in cross country, but like, I don't think people necessarily recognize how fast these girls are going. Lincoln East won Class A, which also was pretty predicted and expected, with Millard West getting second, and then Omaha West Side getting third. And I know for a while it was kind of back and forth whether they, you know, who, when they were people were predicting who would win, Millard South or Millard West and West Side. And then Kearney Catholic won Class C, with Auburn getting second. I don't know that that was a huge upset, but both were expected to do really, really well. And then Hemingford won Class D with Ainsworth, which I think that they had been ranked consistently like 7th, 8th throughout the season. Ainsworth ended up getting second. In Class D, they only score 3 runners. So they had first place winner with a senior Catherine Kerrigan, who has been a consistent presence, you know, both in state for track and cross country all 4 years. And I think she had a sibling as well, who was an older sibling who was as well. But they got 1st, 8th, and 27th for their scoring runners. But yeah, so that was pretty cool seeing the Class D. I mean, a lot of people don't give a lot of attention, I think, to Class D athletes, but that Ainsworth coming in and getting second overall was pretty cool.
No, I completely agree.
And then the college front cross country conference meets are basically this week. So there will be a lot of results next week from those.
Yeah. And we got district volleyball.
We do.
Yep. I'm excited. We'll go with excited. Districts can be a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when they are like same time. They're not the same time as football playoffs, but like past years,
right.
There has been like sometimes an overlap. Whether it's like weather forces a game, personally. But the Class A, those are done. So Papio South, Lincoln Southwest, Lincoln East, West Side, Grand Island, Bellevue West, and Lincoln Pius all won their districts. So they have clinched state berths. And then there is, I think, I think there's a wild card that will also make it, that I don't know who it is because I am not that good at math and wild card points. And I'm afraid to admit it.
Well, I also think that sometimes they're not always updated when you think they're going to be updated. So it's always best to not speculate, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I will say, I don't think anyone is shocked to see Papio South heading back. It's kind of exciting to see 3 Lincoln teams in the mix. It's not all like Metro teams, which is the case with some state tournaments.
Right.
Being just a lot of Metro. Not this time. But yeah. And then I think Saturday is the day that the rest of the districts are going on.
I believe you're correct.
And you must be like rooting for Mercy, but they have Elkhorn North.
Oh, I went and saw their sub-district game. I believe it was against Duchesne, and the girls played really hard, but just couldn't pull it out. So I'm very excited that they've made it onto districts. I have to do this again. My shout out to Sydney Moleskar, because so she was leading the state in aces. Now she's third in the state, but still 79 in one season. And she's obviously got more games to go. Hopefully they can pull out a win and move on. But that's still pretty awesome. And just as a whole, we know Nebraska is a volleyball state, and it's not just colleges. Like, watching these high school girls play, it's just really fun watching competitive good volleyball, and you see it at every level in the state.
I completely agree. Like Kearney Catholic knocking off Lincoln Lutheran after like a giant, I can't remember the number at this point, winning streak. Like Omaha Scott goes and competes like nationwide. They are going for 8 or 9 straight titles. They have to beat Alliance, but I feel like they probably would qualify in wild card.
Yeah.
Except they defeat, so they wouldn't. They have to beat Alliance.
Yes. They hosted the sub district that Mercy was in, and just being in their gym and seeing all the like state championship banners and everything else, you're like, yep, this is a lot of history at this high school when it comes to sports.
Yeah, no, they're big. Norris is seeded number 1. They're taking on Blair. That should be an interesting matchup. And then Elkhorn North and Mercy are 2, and Scott's 3 against the Lions. All of those should be just like exciting, and they should just be exciting.
Yes. Sorry, what was that?
I'm excited.
Yes. I'm bummed I will be out of town, so I won't be able to see my Monarchs play. But it's just going to be just so much good volleyball. And so like the 28th, right? That's when, so tomorrow, as of when we're recording, is when the district finals really get shaken out. So that will be interesting.
Yep, and then we'll have state pairings either Saturday night or Sunday morning normally. I'm not sure what it is this year, but maybe we can do predictions or something.
Yeah, that would be fun. And then I saw that Kearney Catholic is taking on West Point Beamer for their district final in C1. That's a 1-16, so I don't anticipate a lot of surprises because Kearney Catholic is really good.
Kearney Catholic's good. Minden, good. Like, yeah, no. But I still think they will all be, like, across the board, they should be pretty, I would guess, competitive.
I think so, yeah. I mean, what they had to do just to qualify is pretty huge, so.
Yeah, agreed.
Again, Nebraska's a volleyball state.
It's a volleyball state. You can't get around it. Fabulous. You love to see it.
Yes, we really, really do. And I just love that we don't have to talk about college or high school football playoffs.
Yes. But if you care about that, you can check out the Prep Zone podcast because they covered it. They very thoroughly covered it. And I think they're doing a 2-part episode next week, focusing 1 on football, 1 on state volleyball.
Nice.
So I don't want to miss that, but that won't be coming out till next Tuesday, I want to say. So that is coming up.
Yes.
They will have very informed predictions. Not that ours won't be as informed, but Mike Patterson's been covering the volleyball teams all season. So
and then we just have our countdown till we start basketball season and swimming and wrestling. So that'll be a lot of fun. Am I missing another winter sport that we have?
I was thinking, and I can't think of.
Okay.
I mean, is there indoor cross country for college?
Yes, they'll have indoor track. We'll start up in December. Yeah, I figured. So that competitions really start up in December. Nebraska doesn't really have high school, but there's some open gym meets at CSM that a lot of our athletes compete in. And I mean all of our high school, not mine specifically. But yeah, other than that, oh, and cheer competitions kind of start up too, don't they? I know championships are in like March-ish, February-ish.
I'm not entirely sure actually on that one when their season starts. I'd have to look, but all very exciting and
Yeah.
all coming up. We're currently very busy because I don't know if you noticed, but like there's like it feels like 8 sports going on right now.
Yes, everything is happening right now. Everything. I mean, college basketball is starting.
Yeah.
Because aren't the Huskers playing on Sunday, I think?
Saturday or Sunday, it's an exhibition, yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously exhibition, but still, that means we're going to be starting to talk hardcourt soon.
Yep. It's going to be great. Very exciting. Yeah. Very sad. Allison Widener, I can never remember how to say her name. Sorry about that. Out for the season again. So that's a little heartbreaking. Nebraska basketball has some good transfers. So I'll have to see how that shakes out. And Creighton's ranked number 22 in the polls.
Yes. We're going to have so much to talk about when basketball starts up. It's just go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our episodes. We might bounce around on our release date a couple times a week because of schedules and games.
Because we're busy.
Yeah. Yes. That's the accurate way of putting it.
Yeah. But thank you for listening. You check out us wherever podcasts are available. Until next time, thank you.
Bye.